we've got, I don't know, doves, butterflies, hummingbirds, unknown birds. I have become totally obsessed this week with fan birds. Now, last weekend, the International Association of Woodcarvers did a little demo, and I'm going to put that link in the description, but a little demo on fan carving birds. Now, I saw birds before, but I just didn't really pay attention to how they were made. So, this is not a tutorial, but I've been dabbling this week. A typical YouTuber, learn something, make a video, but no. Well, it hasn't been a week, it's only been a couple days, so even worse. But anyway, I've been dabbling this week with fan birds, so I'm going to take you through the process. I am not an expert, obviously, and I'm just having fun. In my shop, it's all in my brain. I was going to make a different video, and I thought, this is what I'm doing, this is what you get. So I'm going to go over to my woodlot superstore here, aka my brother's house, and we're going to go steal a couple slices of cedar. Now, I have used pine and ash and cedar this week, and I kind of like pine for the reason that it takes up a lot of water and I can get it really juicy, but it's not as strong as the cedar. The cedar has more of a stringy fiber, I find, and seems to hold the bird together better. So we're going to go with the cedar today. The ash I didn't really care for because my ash is old and dead and it just wouldn't take on enough, and it was a little bit punky too in certain spots. So anyway, we're doing cedar, so let's go cut a couple of slices of cedar. We got our round here. Some guys like to cut it like so. I'm going to take off that piece there, but I'm just working my way all the way around and just using the outside edge and keeping the center chunk just for firewood. But we're going to take that round edge off, and then we want a good 3/4 to an inch all the way around, like so. See that? That way, here, this is the grain. Yeah, here's the grain on this one. Very flat. All right, I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, keeping it flat. We're just going to work our way all the way around and keep chunking them off. I'm making billets probably, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 inches by 3/4 to an inch. I'm going to work them all down to the exact dimensions that I want with probably with my knife and my draw knife. So that's what we're doing. So all I'm doing is I'm going to, instead of splitting it all up, I'm just going to take this round part off here. So normally I take a little relief. All right, I can. Let's take a relief cut out of here. There, took a little relief. So there's my edge. I want to go about 2 3/4, 3 inches to be safe. All right, little split. I'm going to go across. And like I said, 3/4 to an inch. Bob's your uncle. All right. If it needs to be cleaned up at all, we can clean it up. But this is all going to see a draw knife. This is just cleaning it up really for the pot. But yeah, that's what we're trying to get. Nice little billets. So this tree was wasn't super dry, it wasn't super green. It was kind of the middle of the road. We cut it down live. I remember cutting it down. So we're going to put it in the water and put some water back into it. So what I do is I'll put let's make a whole pot of wood, fill that full of water, and you got to get a rock or something from the garden and weigh it down, bring the water to a boil, and then simmer it for 2-3 hours. It's Some say that the wood has to sink on its own. I didn't find that to be necessarily true, but you really want to get that wood waterlogged. But today we're not going to do that because it's 30 degrees Celsius here, and Mama doesn't care for the stove going for 4 hours straight, so we're going to let that sit. But I'll show you what I do after these are simmered and boiled or whatever. Take them out. I put them in a Ziploc bag, 2 in a bag, fit perfectly, and put them in the fridge if you're going to use them shortly, or just put them straight in the freezer. And then you've got these prepared, so you only have to do this once every once in a while. And you've got a prepared blank ready for making yourself a little fan bird. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to take this up to the carving room, and we'll turn this into a bird, hopefully. Like I said, not an expert. I failed to mention another good resource. I'm going to put a link in the description. It's a couple of fan carving world from Michigan. Lots of information. So if you have questions about this, probably not the guy to ask. I've ordered books. I haven't even got them. And yeah, you'll see this again on the channel, but I'm no expert yet. But this is what a prepared, finished, wet blank is. So basically the same thing. And this is probably about 4 times heavier. So that's all it takes, is just get that thing waterlogged. The wetter, the better. So, all right, carving room. First things first is I just want to get a little flat edge on here. Okay, camera. Just getting a little flat edge first. Spin it around. Good enough. Gotta watch for some little pits if you pull a grain or something. That if there's a little indent, you gotta get it out. You want it nice and sheer, flat. But the other side. This is not set in stone as a final edge, but it helps me to see what I got here. So that's nice and straight, but you can see that's all pretty wonky. So we'll open this way up and we'll just start flattening it out. You can see there's any little indent. You gotta get it out. Anywhere that grain is pulled or it's loose, it's gotta go. See, that's digging it right in there. Out. We're getting a little bit thin already. Alright, so now we know I've got a little indent there, so I'm going to make sure that that's going to be the head end. Alright, make sure I don't do it on this side. We should be good. You can just see how juicy that is. Very nice. Very nice. Make sure it's nice and flat profile here. But yeah, fairly square. Not so bad. Alright, first things first is I'm going to make sure my ends are fairly square. And actually they look pretty good. Okay, I got my little helper here that I can push against, and pencil works fine, but if you got an indelible pencil, that works great too. So I'm going to come in about 1 inch roughly. Oh, see, that's that mark. That was the head end, so wrong side. I'm going to come in about 1 inch. I'm going to take my number 11 chisel. I've already deviated greatly from anything I've ever seen, so watch a bunch of videos, but I'm just going to put that in here, and I'm going to put a groove right across there. You can see that? Just putting a little groove there. Same on this side. This is my lock. This is going to lock all the feathers together. Alright, now I want it to be about a third. I want a third left in the middle, is what I should say. So taking a third off of each side and leaving a third in the middle. Alright. You see that? See, some of these feathers, let me show you here. So this is the tip of the feathers. Now you can do some of these, you can do them round. You see how these are a little bit rounded? What do we got here? We got this little, I got that tight on there. You see, we got little 45-degree angles also. And then I settled on, I started doing them like this. You can see that? I kind of like that. So all that is I'm putting a little mark, say a 1/4 inch each way, 1/4 inch each way, like so. And I'm going to take my little, what we got here? Anything works, any gouge works. This is number 8. I'm just going to line up those two marks, the 2/4 inch. I'm just going to run that right across. Yeah, see that? I'll just take that right off of there. There's one side. And do the same thing on the other. Right across. Just see the water just oozing out. It's a beautiful thing. And I'll just fine tune it till I got them perfect, if there's such a thing. Alright. There we go. Something like that, you see it? Alright, not necessary. Like I said, you can round them. I'm just gonna take that pencil off. There you go. That's the tip of our feather. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, roughly, let's just say roughly 3 inches. I want a 1/4 inch variance of that, okay? So if that's, say, roughly 3 inches, I want a 1/4 inch, all right? I'll just draw a line. So that's over about 2.5 inches, about a 1/4 inch. All right. I'm going to bring that line across. Do the exact same thing on the other side. The fellow who did the demonstration on the International Association of Woodcarvers, this was all knife work to him. But I'm going to take my number 11 little gouge here. I'm going to run that right across. Right. And this is what we call the hinge. Okay, this is where the feathers are going to make their bend. All right, and I know this is banging the camera, but I'm getting it nice and close. So I'm just going right across that line with this gouge. All right. You can see that water just coming up. So satisfying to carve for some reason. All right, but. We're nowhere near close enough yet, so we're going to take that deeper. We're not going to go as close as we need to go. We're only going to go in another 1/8 of an inch or so on each side, and then we're going to rive the feathers before we thin that down, because that ends up being just toothpick size. All right, so let's get this down a little bit deeper. All right. And all I've been doing is taking my big old chisel here, and I've just been going down, get about a ½ inch back from there. See that? Picking her up and bringing her down. I'm just trying to find the center of that gouge mark. Okay. Uh-oh. And that's the alarm. And we're back again. Got the alarm off. Same thing on the other side. ½ inch back or so. Coming in on a nice 45-degree angle. Hopefully finding the center of that gouge mark with the other cut. And take it off, and that's what we got. Alright. Clean that up a little bit, but like I said, we're going to thin that down after we split the feathers. Alright. Just like so. This side, just roughly ½ inch. You can see how thick we are here, and we're going to go even thinner when we're done splitting the feathers off. But that's your rough blank. Now, let's say we want to add some detail to a feather. We can just take our, let's just put one. This is purely for decoration. Just run that across. If we want to add something to the feathers, we'll just take a V tool, put a line around it, and we'll just run the V tool across. Other side. Like so. And there you can see. You see these feathers here? See those little V cuts in there? A little extra little detail in there, alright? Alright, let's split the feathers. Now, I have all these little draw knives here, but this one here is a nice straight blade designed just for this purpose. And all I'm going to do is going to put that on there. I'm going to slide that down. Right to the bottom, and I'm going to push it over, like so. Do it again. And that's okay. You can lose a feather or two on your journey here. I made many mistakes, and see that one's no good. I can just pop that out. Do it again. All right. Keeping these, oh, I don't know, between a 16th, a healthy 16th. They should be wafer thin, but I know I don't have the knack down just yet to do them all perfect, but I'm trying. So we're just cutting these down, and see how they, just to that hinge there, and then they can wobble each way. So I'm going to go ahead and go all the way through these, trying to keep this as straight as I can. We'll make a whole bunch of feathers. kind of rushed it. I can see something's wrong here. This one here doesn't, yeah, all right, these tall ones. But overall, there is our feathers. There's one there, that's wonky. Oh. All right, take that one off. It's okay to take some of these out of here on the ends because we have to do our bird head on here still. Like I said, if we draw our little bird head on here, we want that to come down a little bit. So basically these top ones are garbage anyway. All right, and we want to go like, let's go big hummingbird. All right. And even up a little bit on the bottom. All right. So I'm going to go and I'll cut that out in the bandsaw real quick and come right back. All right, so there's our bird head. So basically I'm just going to whittle that down. You can see what I said before, we lost the top feathers because we took the head down. But, so the first few are good for practice. But I'm just going to whittle my way around. I'm not really doing a super carving, just kind of taking some of these edges off. All right. Come around. The fellow who did the demonstration did all this as knife work, so I've already, like I said, I've deviated greatly off of the guy I watched doing it, but I think that's okay. Everybody's got to find their own style. Like I said, we're not getting too carried away. When this is dry, you can paint these and do like full, pick your bird and paint it as your favorite bird or whatever, but that's not today. And we know darn well any ridiculously sharp point is going to break, so let's just nip it in the bud right off the bat. All right. Little saw mark there. Yeah, I thought this video would just be fun, just so that give you pique your interest a little bit, like it did mine. All right. So, like I said, that hinge, we want that hinge just. I'm gonna take my knife. I'm just gonna go just a little bit deeper on that hinge. Careful not to cut through or it's all for nothing. But very thin. Maybe a little bit of a wobble in there. All right, a little bit up here. So things that I have to work on myself are the thickness of the wings. Of course, I always rush on camera, but the thickness of the wings is critical. But I think that's about as deep as I want to go. You can see how thin that is. So back in the vise, and let's put some. What do you say? Fluff some feathers. See. All right. And this side. Pull apart. It can only get better. But I just find this fascinating. So many of these lost crafts that shouldn't be. You're just pulling them apart, shaping them, they're all locked together. You hear those little cracks of the fibers. That's totally normal. the little 1/8 of an inch that we left there, that's just a hinge. All right, I'm going to put this one back, and let's go to the back here. Let's make a little tail feather, like so. It's always an odd number, so that's 5. 5 on the back. Alright, so what do we got here? Let's get that all together. Nice and tight. There we go. What kind of a bird is it? I don't know. So I'm going to clean this up here. Got my knife. Just very carefully. Alright. So, rough birdie, but it's a bird nonetheless. Alright. So, one more thing to do, and then we're done. Round it around. Round it around. That's not a thing. Alright. Just make a little eye hole. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little trusty ice pick. I'm going to jam it right in his head. Ow! Alright. Now I'm going to stick that wire in there. Since it's so waterlogged, I can actually push that in there just like a nail. It's way too long anyway. Alright. Stick that right in his head. Look at that. And then as that dries, that's only going to get stronger, okay? There we go, little hanger for our bird. And this is crude and all, but I'll just show you. You can play with that wire to find the balance, where you want the balance to be. But actually, that's pretty much bang on. So there you go. How fun is that? We have a little bird, one piece of wood, right? Like I said, this is not going to be the last time you ever see this, because as you're aware, I'm very green and new at this, but yeah, that's dry. That was made last night, but that is all dry already. So, really fun. Look at that. So cool. What a cool little project. So I made, like I said, I don't know what kind of bird that is. Just some kind of bird. Bigger tail on it. We had a butterfly. Little butterfly. It's kind of fun. You can hang these in the garden. You can, like I said, you can paint these. I don't know why I tied this one. I'm going to cut that off there. Right. You can paint these and hang them in your garden. Hang them anywhere. Give them to your kids, mobiles. There's stories. There's quite a traditional story about this. Something about, but I won't even get into it. But if you hang these in your house, it's kind of a good luck thing. But some simulate it with the Holy Spirit dove in your house too. So all kinds of stories. But man, I just became obsessed over the last little bit, and super fun, super cool. Like I said, I'm putting the links of people who know what they're talking about in the description. I've got the International Association of Woodcarvers, and I believe it's the NI, the Fan Bird World Carving. Anyway, whatever. Links are in the description. Check them out. And like I said, if you got questions, go to them. I've ordered some books. There's some really, really cool things that I'm going to attempt anyway. I've seen women carvings with dresses of fans, little flowers, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah, just a little taste of something totally different for me and you, hopefully. And, yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who bought me a coffee this week or purchased merch. Always appreciate it. And we'll be back with something different sooner than later. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.